rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. This is Tuesday, August 27th, 2019. This is the Mitchell County Board of Supervisors meeting at the Mitchell County Courthouse. We have an agenda before us. Any comments? Ascertain any motions to approve?
Also move.
Second?
Barbara's made motion, Stan is second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Approve the minutes of August 20th and the claims. So,
I had no problem with either.
Same here.
okay, Stanley has made a motion, Barb is second, roll call, Stanley.
Aye.
Barb.
Aye.
Smollett, aye. Moving on, county attorney, general discussion, Mark.
Nothing really of note, just Stan had dropped off this bankruptcy stuff at our office, and that has to do with that opioid litigation. Of course, the company now is selling off everything. I'm sure they're selling it off to subsidiaries that they've created, so, just moving money around.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the news yesterday, but
Yep.
Yes.
so I'm not sure if that's a victory for the state of, was it Texas or Florida? Oklahoma? Oklahoma. If that's a victory for them or a loss for them.
I didn't see it.
Well, they were asking for what, 18 billion, 17.5 billion
And they
on
got
opioid litigation,
500
Johnson. They got 500 million. So I don't know if that's really a victory for the state that they're saying, oh, we got 500 million, or
No, they
they're
figured it was a victory for the company because the stock went up after the announcement, went up $5 or something because they felt the same
Yeah.
thing. It was gonna be a much higher.
And then they're saying they're appealing it. If I was them, I don't know if I'd appeal it, because I suppose what they're saying is we've got these going on in all 50 states. We could afford 500 million, but we can't afford 500 million times 50. So, I think I scanned and emailed you this letter from the office of the Ombudsman's office,
yes.
which is, they're not gonna give us anything, which I assumed they wouldn't. I thought maybe I'd find a sympathetic ear and they'd say, oh, let's just give it to them. But it certainly looks, from the reading of that, when they're talking about their numbers, how their numbers are up, and et cetera, and this doesn't involve the death of a child, and I don't think that complaint's gonna go anywhere. I think it's just gonna sit there, and eventually, if Mr. Winters hasn't already gotten a letter that's saying they're not doing anything, eventually he'll get a letter that's saying, we're not doing anything. That's all I have.
Okay, Mark. Stan?
I guess, did you have time to look over that thing that I sent you from NICOG?
Oh, I've skimmed it, I haven't looked it over completely. I think there's a big difference between people saying, I just don't want to wear a seatbelt, and people saying,
Maybe we should give a real quick update.
Yeah.
okay,
Apparently NICOG operates 95 of those blue buses. And in the past, we have had people, one of our rules is that you have to be buckled up. Everybody buckles up their seatbelt. Well, and of course, they're going down the road and that, and some of these people are unbuckling and so on. We had one here 4, 5, 6 years ago where they're coming back from Iowa City. Our blue bus was going to pass a truck with a trailer. Truck with a trailer must not have noticed our blue bus was, in the event he swerves out and pushes our bus off into the ditch, and it rolls, and this person didn't have their seatbelt on, and of course we were sued. And so in any event, last Wednesday or whatever, we must have had another individual that got somewhat hurt, not wearing their seatbelt. And then my question to the COG is, do we have to allow these people to ride the bus then if they don't want to follow the rules? And so apparently the individual that heads the transportation of NICOG, he said that there's a state law that says we have to basically furnish rides, even if they don't want to.
That's somewhat what it says, and like I said, I haven't had time to look at it completely because it was 3 pages of codes. It's the Americans with Disabilities Act that says you cannot refuse to provide services to someone because of a disability.
But then we could get sued.
Well, they're saying if someone has a disability, you can't force them to use a seatbelt, and you can't force them, and you can't refuse to give them a ride. And I said, well, I agree with that, but there's a big difference between I don't want to wear a seatbelt and I can't wear a seatbelt because I have a disability. I think there's a huge difference between those two things. And if someone's just saying, I don't want to wear a seatbelt because I don't like it, or, you know, they unbuckle it halfway through because they find it uncomfortable, I think you can tell those people you're either going to use a seatbelt or we're not going to give you a ride. Now, the problem is you're expecting the bus drivers to enforce that, and I just don't see how they're going to.
Well, and part of my concern was, I mean, since we are part of a 28E agreement with the COG, and somebody actually did get seriously hurt again, and we went over our limits, do they come back in the various counties and that? I mean, are we somewhere along the line also involved with something?
My typical response to Stan when he asked me that is, anybody can sue anybody for anything. I can sue you and say you punched me in the nose at this meeting, even though there's 100 people here who say you didn't. I can still sue you for it, and you're still going to have to go out and hire an attorney, and you know. So anybody can sue anybody for anything. The bigger question is, do we have any liability in that situation? And my response is, I just don't see how the county has any liability in that, because you are not the owner of the bus. NICOG is the owner of the bus, and that's where it stops. You know, it's
I
kind
don't
of.
think they should even get sued. I mean, think about it. If the bus driver's doing his job, he's watching the
Yeah.
road, not checking if they're unbuckling their
Yeah, you
seatbelt.
still have to prove negligence, and, you know.
I guess with the way the law is, the legal system is, the liability can be transformed to anybody on it because.
Well, yes and no. It's kind of like if I buy IBM stock, and IBM does something negligent, or Johnson & Johnson, if I own Johnson & Johnson, they can't say we're suing Johnson & Johnson and we're going to sue Mark Waugh. You know, the liability stops with Johnson. And it's kind of the same way with that 28E agreement. NICOG is NICOG. And just because we are a member of NICOG doesn't mean they can sue. You know, that's why that's why these people set up corporations. That's why they set up LLCs is, okay, you can sue the LLC, but that's where the liability stops. You can't sue the owners. And I think it's the same thing here. They could sue Mitchell County, but I think Mitchell County would be dismissed out. Because, you know, just because we are an owner or a member or whatever of the 28E group, liability doesn't extend to us through that. It stops at NICOG. So,
Okay.
make sense?
Yep.
Okay,
Yepper.
brief recess.
Alrighty, thank you, Mark. We're gonna have a short recess. We'll be back in a few minutes. This meeting, and Sheriff, I'll let you have the hot seat.
Sure. Probably just a couple of updates on the marathon. It went real well. There was no issues with that, and I think it'll just continue to get bigger.
Good.
No issues that I'm aware of. Now Stan's smiling, so maybe you got some complaints that I'm not aware of.
No, but,
I had a detour sign stolen the night before, or 2 days before, and then I had truck drivers
at 5 in the morning not wanting to take a detour. But it was, once the light came up and things were going, very little problems.
Good.
Just people didn't want to pay attention. I grabbed more cones and signs for the city of St. Ansgar because the side streets weren't marked and people were using that as an excuse to get back on Foothill by saying that the side streets weren't shut down so we could still get on here. So I didn't appreciate the comments when I told them it was closed, but whatever. But when the race was going, I think it really made a big difference this year. So I think it was a
Well, I
good
think
idea.
it continues to get bigger, so.
Yeah, did you hear how many? I heard, but I don't remember.
193
Yeah.
runners.
Oh.
And I think 40 some ran the full marathon. 40.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's even higher than what
Yeah.
I heard. Did you hear that, Jessica?
How many, 40?
But 190 some were in the whole
Dang.
thing.
That's awesome.
It was a good day for it.
196?
193 is what I was
193?
so it's a good day. Okay.
No, I tried to have a little humor with it because Friday night I took my four-wheeler down and took a picture of the one, and then I posted it on Facebook that Mitchell County is one of the progressive counties that all of our real busy county roads, we're gonna start putting porta potties out for.
Oh,
And then, of course, right away somebody, oh, no, that's for the 4x4 or whatever, main to main, that, don't you know what's going on about what it?
Took it too seriously. It
I
was
do have to
cute.
say, Greg,
Yeah.
too,
That's
there was
social
one,
media.
I was parked at your sign there coming into St. Ansgar, and there was one marathon runner who, I think it was he and his wife or whoever he was running with, was encouraging her, and so he was probably a little bit better runner, but he stopped at your sign and he started laughing, and he grabbed his cell phone out and started taking pictures of it, so he thought it was pretty hilarious. I know with a lot of
Good.
those signs they have, they're trying to keep the humor going for these runners to keep them motivated. That was one of them for him.
yeah, good.
Well, I'm glad the run went well, and thank you, Rich, for your time, donating your time out there.
That was a nice morning to be out, I'll tell you that.
Oh, what beautiful weather.
3 o'clock is pretty quiet.
Hopefully this will continue to grow. Next thing you know, this will be a Boston Marathon type race.
Well, and I think that there's things that with the detour we'll improve upon next year. I think there's some things we can improve on a little bit. For the duration of the detour, it's hard to put a real big effort into trying to completely lock everything down because it's so, I went out at 3 in the morning and I know they went out at 2:45, and by the time I got the detour signs up, they were already had barricades put up and were coming back from St. Ansgar already. So it takes, but if we were to hard close everything, I don't know how long that would take. It takes a lot of time to do it before the runners go, but I think what we did was sufficient. I don't think we had too many people. And they had people at every intersection, I think, but one, and we double barricaded that one. People were still probably trying to sneak around, but I think for the most part, compared to last year, the traffic was significantly reduced. No semis at all. So,
Well, it's a live and learn,
Yep.
each year progress. So anyways, thank you.
How many this morning?
Yeah, we have 3 this morning and busy court day upstairs, so
Same 3 as last week?
pretty much, yep.
Yeah,
They're doing
okay.
the time for us, so, and then get out and get to work, right? I don't have anything else unless you
Anything
guys
for-
do.
If not, great, thank you.
All right, thank you guys.
Have a good day. Richard,
morning.
county engineer update. Good morning.
We got through the marathon update, so I don't have to talk about that. We're going through interviews this week for our positions, so hopefully by the end of the week, we'll have them done. I think Merlin and I will discuss them next week and maybe have a decision made by the end of next week already, and then the following week, I'm on vacation, but I might be able to still bring something to the board that Tuesday. So we'll see how the process goes.
How many did we interview?
We're interviewing 5 right now. We had 13 applications altogether. We have, I'm getting ready to purchase that tracking system we agreed upon here a while back, and the nice thing is, I was able to get a cheaper price for it by about 18%, so it's dropped about $4,000 off the price by waiting a little bit, so I'll get that going. And then I have my annual report here to review with you folks. It's nothing that needs approval, just kind of a review of the report in general. As a summary, last year, beginning of fiscal year 19, we had a beginning balance of 2.4 million roughly, and at the end of this year we have 1.6 roughly. So we've spent down some of that that carryover that we've had in the past, partially due because some of the projects didn't get billed through that last fiscal year. So it would probably be even reduced more. We've got more projects coming, so things are looking good. Overall, if I remember right, this doesn't give me the percentage summary, but we were 14% under budget. Most of that was just due to construction that didn't get billed out in that fiscal year. So, but overall, we had total funds to account for were 7.7 million. That included the carryover, and we spent total expenditures of 6,024,759 and change. So, just as an update on that, it's just numbers. You guys have the balances for secondary roads through the auditor's office and everything else, but I'll submit this to the DOT. That'll be done. That needs to be in by the 15th of September. So we're early on that. And if you got any questions, we can talk about them. But,
Concerns?
okay. I know the rock run is done in the county as of last week, so we're done with that. I know you guys are still trying to finish upgrading 370th there. The construction in Stacyville started this week, so they're just getting removals going on that. So not a whole lot going on. I know they had trouble with truck drivers and detour up there in Stacyville. Tried to add more signage because the truckers were coming in from the north, driving all the way into town.
Yeah.
And then they get to the fence and then, oh, I can't go any further, which,
Yeah, that's kind of a tough place to turn around.
well, they were taking the side streets, and side streets can't take those heavy trucks, so we're trying to accommodate that detour a little bit better. But everything's going smooth so far, so
Okay.
that's what's going on right now. And I've got Nuss Truck coming in today to review our dump trucks for trade on the new one, and Cat was in yesterday looking at the motor here. So
Okay. Sounds good.
probably by, not this week, maybe next week, not this coming meeting, but the next one, probably around the 10th, I might have some numbers for us to look at for equipment. So.
Perfect. Any other comments for Richard? Questions? If not,
Okay, I'll stick around.
thank you, Rich. How about you approve Floyd County US
Oh, yeah, we gotta
218
do that. I had
detour?
that written down.
Maybe
So-
get that.
What was Floyd County doing? Were they taking out
No, they're doing,
oh, the railroad crossing.
railroad crossing on.
Well, that railroad
218.
crossing north of Floyd is getting redone, and it's gonna be how many days did they say? Was that 5 days or something?
Yeah, it's September 16th through the
16th through the 20th, so.
week.
And that detour is running on the Avenue of the Saints to T38 in Floyd County, run up to Osage. Kind of the reverse of what we did T38, so.
Okay.
Just needs the approval and the signature, approval of the board, signature of the chair, so we can get that.
So move.
Okay, Stanley's made a motion, Barb has seconded. Roll call, Stanley.
Aye.
Barb.
Aye.
Smollett, aye. So this has been approved. Number 7. That's me. It's gonna be a double of that.
That's okay.
I assume that's why you're here, Jessica?
Yeah, I'm the lucky one today. Tony's fine.
Okay.
No.
9, is it 9, 8?
Good enough. Thank you.
There it is, we've accomplished.
You mailed out to them.
Okay.
So last night, our board approved 4 applications to come to you guys. 2 of them are rental duplexes, so 4 units, all rentals. 2 of them are in St. Ansgar and 2 in Stacyville.
2 in Stacyville?
Oh, sorry, what did I say? Osage and St. Ansgar.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish it was Stacyville. A commercial project in Osage for a trucking company to put up a building. And then in St. Ansgar, a commercial and housing project.
Who's applying for each one of those?
Here, I'll just give you these, how's that sound? And I'll make
Okay,
it
thank you.
for you. It's the 4 on the bottom. Yeah. I'll print you a copy of these 4, because I just wrote something. Yeah, there's 4 people.
So what
There's
we
2 in
need is,
Osage and 2 in St. Ansgar.
motions to approve the construction incentive.
So move.
And, okay, Stanley has made a motion,
Second?
Barb has seconded. Roll call, Stanley.
Aye.
Barb.
Aye.
Smollett, nay. So it has passed. We'll go on with that.
Oh, that was loud. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jessica. Items of note, meetings attended. Barb?
We attended the Avance meeting in which Jennifer went through the process of bringing Puerto Ricans and here for jobs and all the things to consider to help them acclimate. I don't think I'll go into all the details, but if there is a business that's interested, I certainly have detailed notes. If they want, I can share them with them. And it was suggested to get a committee or something going that would cover different areas, like someone who might help them with setting up their household, someone who might be giving them tours of town, which I offered for, someone who might help them with getting their driver's license and cell phone updated. Those are the 2 most important things when they first come. And obviously housing will be a big deal. They're kind of hoping that some people that maybe rent or sell to them would give them perhaps maybe waive the first month or something so they can get on their feet a little bit. And let's see, I had an economic development meeting, and as Jessica said, we spent most of our time reading through these housing applications, and we're up to 17 now. And she mentioned what they were, so I won't go over that. I will also be the one of the people signing checks now. They always have at least 2 people sign each check. And Tony gave us a report on all the meetings he's attended and any kind of updates from conferences or leads or whatever, that kind of thing.
Stanley?
Last Wednesday, we had our annual Homeward Housing Trust whatever meeting. And again, Homeward will be coming to the board here before the middle of December, requesting $5,000 towards, it basically allows people in Mitchell County that are low to moderate income people to do some updates or remodeling. Quite often it's a new furnace, a new air conditioner, that type of thing. I believe it's up to $10,000 this year that they can apply. Part of it's normally a grant, part of it's normally a loan. In any event, sounded like that our money for this present year is pretty well all committed for. This new program will start again in January 1st. When I looked through the various counties that participate, Mitchell County is, I think, second in usage of this program. It's been in existence since 1996, if I remember right. And they've applied for over $1 million worth of, like you say, reconstruction, that type of thing. So it's really been a good thing for the low to moderate income people. I'll try to come up with a news release here maybe in a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, because like you say, they can't apply for anything until after the first of the year, so there's no sense getting too far ahead of whatever. But that was my meeting.
Stan, who all participates in that? Do you remember it all?
I think there's up to 22 counties, if I remember right. And basically, the ones that don't participate around here is Floyd and Cerro Gordo, because they have their own program. But I can go out to the truck. I got my folder in the truck, and I can
That's
bring.
okay right now.
What is your high number that they can draw from?
Well, there's different programs available, and I think $10,000 this year is what they're going to have for that they can apply for, part loan, part grant. There's also this program works with the various electric cooperatives. And so if you happen to be a member of the cooperative and you're in the rural area and you have like a sewer issue, you can also get funding for
Get a grant through them.
either a grant or a loan. I don't remember right off the bat, but and that would be above and beyond this program. So there's some other programs, like I say, just available to members of the cooperatives, the electric cooperatives. And I think there was, what, 7 electric cooperatives that are part of this, or is it 5?
I don't know.
Right offhand again, I don't
I
remember.
think you're right, that one part is for loans, for that rules.
But very, very good interest rates and easy to apply in that.
Okay, thank you, Stan. I had a wellness meeting, August 20th at 1:30, right here. It was kind of an update on what we are, and 60% of our employees have done the biometric part, and we've not quite met the 90% required, so we're still hoping to get more people involved there.
What
Yeah.
areas are they kind of lacking in? Do you know? Because I know she has certain criteria. And that's okay if you don't.
I'll have, there's more here, I'll let you look at that. We need to get more people on board on the physical part, get that done. And we need to do this so that we can get these people on board so we can get 5% of our expense of our insurance. So we gotta get on the names of these people. I have them here, Barb, but I'm not gonna say it
No.
now. They've spent about $80 on food for our lunch and learns, so it's about $4 a meal. And we're gonna have around $1,500 at the end of the year, so they may have some random drawings for that with all the employees that participated. Anyways, that was the end of that meeting. My next meeting was the FMC DCAT meeting. Came to order August 21st at 12:30. They discussed the mentoring contract, and we discussed designations for the Floyd Mitchell County DCAT, and they reviewed the for-year ending 20 budget. They reviewed for the year 20 contract budgets with LSI, Learning Connection, and We also discussed allocations remaining from different other participants. Also discussed they have a printer. It's not in use, and being that it was bought with money, it has to be either given away or donated because you can't really sell it. So, anyways, they also discussed at the tail end that there is a Immersion 101 training meeting, and that's for board members and if they want to come, and for providers and stuff. My last meeting that I had involved with is with Valen. We had a meeting last Thursday, and they discussed that we would have a notice of violation coming out soon because we'd be out of compliance the first day that the new rules and regs come in. Here it is, it came. They're gonna wanna get a compliance schedule for our treatment plant, and the city and council, the city and the county will get this notice, which we've got ours. What it is our old treatment permit was with rules and regulations that went back to 2006. And as of the other day, when this permit went into compliance, we have to become compliant with the new rules and regulations of 2019. So that's where we became not compliant.
What's this gonna take in order to get into compliance?
Well, what they do is, Valent will get in touch with, and the city of Osage are going to get in touch with the DNR, and they're going to get this information.
So we don't have it yet.
We don't have that information. And like I was just told at the meeting, the DNR down at the Wallace building, you know, there's different entities of the DNR, and none of them get along. They do not work together, they don't interact. So they have to get with the different agencies of the DNR down there and get different. This isn't something that's gonna be done overnight. This is gonna take months and months. So we have 45 days to respond to this, and the city will do that for us. They're gonna give us, you know, plenty of time to upgrade, and also for the economic part of this, there'll be plenty of time given to us. This isn't something that's gotta be done instantly. And that was that end of that meeting. So that is all the meetings that I have. Moving on, manure management plans.
Just one, Wheeler Finisher Farm at 4755 Addison Avenue, Riceville.
That's it, huh? Short management plan update. Thank you, Lowell. Is there any public comment? Any questions? I guess then,